U.S. Steel in Gary, Indiana is being brought out. But I'm hoping everybody's is enjoying their Christmas today. Obviously, I'm off of work today, but most jobs would be from my outside of YouTube anyway. So it's been announced that Japan's Nippon Steel is buying out U.S. Steel and Gary for $14.9 billion. And why it matters basically is that U.S. Steel's rise and fall has carried and dragged Indiana for more than half a century, but the decline of the Rust Belt manufacturing leaving industrial ruins. Let's talk about a flashback here. U.S. Steel U.S. Steel had built Gary, Indiana, in the early 1900s, propelling it to a city of nearly 180,000 people in 1960. So over a century. So Gary is named after Albert Gary, who was the co-founder and longtime chairman of U.S. Steel. Now, the company has had laid off nearly 30,000 employees in Gary since the 1970s, while the city's population has fallen to 68,000 people that live there. Um, Now, the Gary Iron Works remains U.S. Steel's largest plant with more than 4,000 workers per the company. Now, to note, along with Gary, other U.S. Steel co-founders included Andrew Carnegie, J.P. Morgan, and Charles M. Schwab. Now, the big picture is one of America's most iconic companies will be owned by a foreign entity, despite domestic interest earlier in this year. The details of this is the $55 per share offer represents around a 40% premium to where Pittsburgh-based U.S. Steel shares ended trading on Friday. It's also substantially higher than the rebuffed bids from American rivals Cleveland Cliffs and S-Mark. But what's next? Nippon says it would honor all of U.S. Steel's existing labor union agreements, and the deal will require regulatory approvals. Then we have a crew here. There was a crew of people that stole over $210,000 worth of Louis Vuitton purse bags in downtown Chicago. In Chicago, Illinois, prosecutors say the Chicago man was among 10 people who had swiped $210,000 plus worth of handbags and purses during a 26-second raid on a Louis Vuitton store in River North last month. Michael Bibbs, who's 18 years old, was arrested at the Cook County and was placed at the Cook County Jail. He had been residing there since Chicago police had caught him with a stolen machine gun 3 days after the shoplifting mob targeted the Louis Vuitton store inside Nordstrom 55 East Grand on November 13th, and it took them a little while to catch him. But shortly before 8 o'clock that evening, the flash mob donned face masks and hoodies, and they made their way up to an escalator to the Louis Vuitton section at Chicago Police. Case report said. The crew didn't say any words or display any weapons as they ripped off about 45 purses from the display shelves, according to the report. Each bag was valued between $3,000 and $11,000. Store managers determined merchandise worth $210,000 to $380,000 was taken during that theft, which only lasted 26 seconds from start to finish. All the thieves appeared to wear gloves during the raid, but they left pieces of razor wire behind, which was possibly a tool that they planned to use if they encountered any security cords. After gathering all the purses, all 10 thieves bolted back down the escalator and they headed east on Grand Avenue. The report continued. Now, the theft was caught on store video, which was posted to Twitter last month by Chicago Critter, and nobody in Chicago could afford this amount of shit anyway, unless you're rich. Chicago doesn't really, I don't know, because I was born and raised in Chicago, so I can guarantee you that about 99% of the people out there cannot afford this shit. So Bibbs is charged with theft of $100,000 to $500,000 in connection with the Louis Vuitton heist. Should he be released in the pending gun case, he will be placed on house arrest for the theft charge. Now, even though Bibbs is only 18 years old, he's already got quite a significant felony resume. Prosecutors say that he was convicted of possessing a stolen car last year, and he was adjudicated a delinquent for aggravated unlawful use of a weapon and aggravated unlawful use of a weapon by a felon when he was a juvenile. Um, on November 16th, Chicago police had saw Bibbs driving a stolen Jeep Grand Cherokee the wrong way, and then watched as he crashed into another motorist in a home in the 5800 block of South Morgan. And he ran on foot from the wreckage, which was basically running. Yeah, so basically fleeing the scene of a wreck is actually considered a crime too. But CPD officers found him hiding in some bushes near a set of railroad tracks, according to his to the arrest report. The cops also found a 9mm handgun equipped to fire automatically like a machine gun on the Jeep's driver's seat, and another 9mm handgun with an extended ammo magazine on the driver's floorboard, prosecutors said. Now, the machine gun had been reported stolen from Wisconsin. At least that's what they claim. So yeah, that guy's got a whole big thing. Man, I'm sweating a little bit too. Shit. Okay. In Hammond, Indiana, a 14-year-old girl had tried to leave school, and basically, this is a big no-no. When the cops tried to stop her from leaving school, she pulled the trigger on one of the cops' guns, which is a big no-no in the eyes of the law. So a teenager who had tried to leave school without permission in Indiana on Monday morning managed to get her hand on the cop's gun and pull the trigger as they struggled to restrain her. Now, the Hammond, Indiana Police Department said an officer spotted the 14-year-old trying to leave Eggers Junior High School. They contacted the child's mother and then tried to bring her back into the office. While the officer tried to restrain the girl, the pair got into a struggle, and she managed to reach her finger into the officer's duty belt and pulled the trigger of the weapon. Now, thankfully, nobody was injured, but the bullet did hit the wall of the school office instead. But the bullet has since been retrieved. Now, it's important to note that the police department, while not assuming responsibility for the incident, believes in transparency and deems it necessary to report this information to the public, the department said in the Facebook post. Now, the safety of the students and staff at Eggers Junior High School remains a top priority. Now, the girl, who has a history of confrontation with law enforcement, faces charges relating to resisting law enforcement. A former paramedic has been sentenced to 25 years after he admitted to molesting a 9-year-old girl. And this is coming out of Indianapolis, Indiana, which is where a majority of the pedophiles live out there. Now, a one-time paramedic for the White River Township Fire Protection District was served 25 years behind bars after he confessed to molesting a young girl. Now, Anthony Henson of Indianapolis pled guilty on Tuesday to 3 counts of child molestation, pleading guilty but mentally ill to one of the counts. Henson was sentenced the same day to 3 separate prison stints of 2 9-year sentences and a 7-year sentence. So that's a little. Yeah, but that would be 25 years. The sentences were ordered to be served consecutively, meaning one after another, for a total prison sentence of 25 years. Now here's what the guy looks like. Oh, shit. Okay, hold on. God, that's one ugly motherfucker. That's a guy I don't want to see down a dark alley. So previous reports detail how Henson told police that the 9-year-old girl did the right thing by telling a schoolteacher about his routine of touching girls inappropriately. Now, Henson had been a paramedic for the White River Township Fire Protection District until he was fired once the district learned of his arrest. Now, Henson was arrested back in 2022, in November of 2022, after the victim told a schoolteacher about Henson touching her both over and under the clothes. Now, originally, police said Henson wouldn't talk to detectives until. He said he wouldn't talk to detectives until he had a change of heart and said he wanted to sign a confession. Henson then told investigators that the girl did the right thing in turning them in, and that she was completely harmless in all this. After serving his prison sentence, Henson will have to register as a sex offender and be placed on probation. Um, Now, a Chicago mother was murdered by her ex-boyfriend in front of her kids after she tried to get a restraining order. A Chicago mom was shot to death in front of her two children, was granted a protection order against her ex-boyfriend hours after she was killed. Maria Roque, a 34-year-old mom of two, was gunned down outside her home Wednesday morning right after putting her 8-year-old daughter into the car, police said, according to CBS News. Maria's 14-year-old son heard the gunshots and ran to his mother's aid as he witnessed her collapse on their front porch steps after being shot several times. Now, the son attempted CPR, but the mother would succumb to her injuries. Now, the victim had a twin brother, and said the victim's twin brother said her murder has left the kid scarred for life. Basically, the son said, "I tried to save her." Police confirmed that the shooting appeared to be domestic related, but no charges in connection with Maria's killings have been filed yet. Now, court records obtained by the Chicago Sun-Times indicate Maria had a restraining order against the ex-boyfriend when she died. Now, a warrant was issued for his arrest the day before she was killed after he contacted her, even though there was a restraining order. Basically, the restraining order stated no contact. By the time the judge granted an extension of the protection order, the loved one said it was too late, and Maria was killed just hours before the judge granted that protection order extension. Now, Chicago still allowed this man to roam free after she went and pleaded and told them, "I'm scared for my life." Now, family members have rallied around Maria's children, offering their love and support while trying to fill the void that she left behind. It's not fair, basically. I'm very angry that her life got cut short, very upset, and I'm very worried about the kids. But the family did set up a GoFundMe to help offset funeral expenses and costs, and to support Maria's children. Has been established while the investigation into her slaying remains ongoing. Now, supposedly, I'm going to assume that the boyfriend did order this killing, but there is no. But right now, there is no proof or whatever right now, so I guess we'll figure that out from there. But, okay, so that's all the news for today. So if you like the video, you can get the video, like, and subscribe to my channel, RBW King. You can also hit the notification bell so that you've been notified when a new video comes out. You can go ahead and leave a comment, let me know what you think. And if you want to support my work even further, you can donate to my Patreon link, which you can find on the About section of YouTube. And for just a little, a few bucks a video or a month, your donation can help go a long way, and thanks for listening.